Kayla G for three. Back to Nicholson, off the glass.
Three ball. Unbelievable. Been an impressive performance.
A shot, she gives it off. Almost a half court from Melbourne is gone. And the look on her face says it all. There is no bigger regular season game than the Melbourne Derby. And when that derby could also determine home court advantage during the finals, it rises to another level again. A win tonight will see the Southside Flyers wrap up a top two finish and home court advantage come the semis. However, the Melbourne Boomers have just as much to play for. A win tonight will see them back over the Flyers and into the box seat for a top two finish themselves. But lose tonight and that all but disappears. So much for both teams to play for, and that's without the bragging rights. It's one of the most pivotal games of the entire season. It's the Flyers and the Boomers at the State Basketball Centre on ESPN's WNBL Game of the Week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our game for the penultimate round of this season, round 15. Jason Bennett alongside 12-time champion Carrie Graf. And Graffy, it's a big game for the Boomers, as we mentioned. They must win tonight to have any hope of a top two finish. But also for them, it's about beating the Flyers. They've played them twice. They've lost to them twice. They might face them again in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. And Coach Chris Lucas will be acutely aware of that. They want to go into the playoffs playing playoff-style basketball and beating an opponent that they haven't managed to do this year. You don't want to go in with a boogeyman team that maybe you can't beat. It sets this game up to be an absolute ripper. Let's check out the league ladder, and remembering that each team plays 21 games, so the Boomers still have 3 to play. The Flyers only have 2. The key thing to know here, the Flyers already wrapped up their 3-game season series over the Boomers, so if these two teams end up locked together on win-loss, the Flyers will finish higher on the ladder, and that could be the difference between finishing second and getting home court advantage. Now, the Fire and the Flyers meet in the final round, so one of those teams is guaranteed to drop another game. If Melbourne win tonight, they'll jump over the Flyers. They do have the season split on the Fire, should they finish level with Townsville. Then the battle for 4th and final spot. It's a race in 2 between Bendigo and Perth. Right now, locked together on 8 losses. They meet in Perth this Saturday night in a game that could well decide who makes it and who misses out. Let's welcome in the third member of our commentary team this evening. Megan Huswaite is courtside. And Megs, a familiar face returns to the WNBL.
Rachel Sporn medalist Leilani Mitchell returns to the WNBL tonight, 427 days since her last WNBL game. She welcomed daughter Elle last year. Elle's here tonight and she's had a feed, so she's happy. But Leilani is nervous. She had her first practice with the Melbourne Boomers yesterday, but it went pretty well. She made the half-court shot, so Coach Chris Lucas owes her $50.
Great start to her new career at her 6th WNBL club for Leilani Mitchell. More on her impact shortly. Carrie, the Boomers haven't been able to get over Southside this season, as we mentioned. Losses by 10 points in round 2, 18 points in round 9. What are their keys to success tonight?
Look, I think for them, and in talking to Chris Lucas, they need to win the rebounding contest. That's critical for them. Can they limit second chance opportunities for the Southside Flyers, and can they get out and run themselves? On that, can they then control the tempo? Can they get it into a half-court game, a grind a little bit? Can they limit that running game of the Southside Flyers and their shot selection? Quick early shots that aren't dropping just fuels the Southside's running game. They've got to make sure that they're shooting great shots.
The Flyers have won 5 of their last 6. They'll be looking to continue that momentum. How do they go about it?
Look, for the Southside Flyers, Coach Cheryl Chambers talks often about their defensive focus. We know they can be a high-octane offensive team, so for them, defensive transition, and can they get out and run? Can they play their up-tempo style and really put the pressure on this Melbourne Boomers team? And critically for them, can they follow the scout? How do you lock down the talent of Kayla George, of Tiff Mitchell, of Christy Wallace? And if you follow your scout report, you might be in a good situation.
It's the number 1 ranked attack, the Melbourne Boomers up against the number 1 ranked defence, the Flyers. These two teams are top 2, ranked 1 and 2 in so many of the major stat categories: scoring differential, 3-point percentage, assists on offense, and then defensively, points against, opposition field goal and 3-point percentage, defensive rebounds. They're both excellent at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, that they are. You know, both can get out and run high octane. Both can light it up from the 3-point line. Both can play some great lockdown defense and have some athletes that can defend exceptionally well. And the talent on both teams, the depth certainly for the Southside Flyers, the supreme talent of the big 3 for the Boomers. This one is what WNBL is all about, talent on show.
So Leilani Mitchell will start on the bench, her first game in 427 days, 15 months out of the competition. She suits up so close to the finals, Carrie. How do you read the risk-reward on this situation for the Boomers?
Yeah, look, minimal risk and huge reward, massive upside. outrageous experience, high IQ. You know, fitness is going to be a bit of concern, obviously, but she'll build that. She's low maintenance in terms of off the floor. She's a facilitator. She's a great chemistry fit. What an amazing pickup leading into the playoffs for the Melbourne Boomers.
Well, it's one of the most significant matchups of the entire season. Two teams fighting for top two, home court advantage come finals time. Potentially a season-defining night for two genuine contenders. Second spot up for grabs, our ESPN WNBL game of the week. And away we go. It's the Flyers and the Boomers at SBC. And it'll be Melbourne to have first possession. George to Nelson Adoda. Ball in dispute under the hoop. Chance here for the Flyers. Tarps, the fall away, opening points for Southside.
That'll settle them into the start of this game, just like a playoff type game. The intensity is going to be high early.
George, Mitchell, both having phenomenal seasons. Tiff gets into the lane, lovely feed, Boomers respond.
Wow, one of the strengths of this Melbourne Boomers team is that their stars all make great assists.
Cole trying to get out on the break. You mentioned their speed. Set up nicely, defensive breakdown, and the Flyers make them pay through Bishop.
Big three for Abby Bishop. Hasn't been shooting a great clip this season, but certainly has the three-point shot in her arsenal.
Wallace to Mitchell. Tiff gets to the rack.
Coach Cheryl Chambers won't be happy with that. On that ball screen defence then, they'll need to tidy that up.
No defence early here. The offence is well and truly on top. This time it's Thornton. She can't get that to go. It's still alive, and the Boomers will tidy it up. Here comes Wallace. George. Adoda posting up against Bishop. Takes her on. Goes left, goes right. Can't finish. Well played, Abby. Again, they look to push the pace. And Thornton, an easy two.
That's what they love to do, them. Southside Flyers is get out and run as we see Mitchell run straight back at you.
A little bit of their own medicine there, but Tiff can't get it to go. And it is being played at a frenetic pace early.
Yeah, it is. Both teams looking at quick shoot. Also get the nerves out a little bit for both teams.
Both coaching staffs will be looking for a bit of defensive lockdown from here. It has been completely offense in the first 2 minutes. Not even close to a stop. Cole. Maddie Rocci. Thornton, will she take Murray on? Pulled out of it. Ran into some traffic. Nelson Adoda. Kayla gets it back and wedges it.
Kayla George going for the tip dunk almost. Bit of showtime from Kayla George early in this big clash. As you say, Jace, both coaches I think will be focused here in forming their teams. We need to lock up defensively, slow this tempo.
Quite often when you get a big game like this, there's nerves and there's a little bit of feeling each other out early, and points are hard to come by, but both these offenses have come flying out of the blocks.
And as we said earlier, both teams have got high octane offense. They can get out and run. They've got multiple options.
Cole attracted a crowd. That left Thornton open. Couldn't drain the shot. And Murray off to Wallace, who wants to put some speed on the ball. Does Blitzarves get in the way? She does, but she fouls in the process. So both teams happy to get out on the break early.
Yeah, and we said in the opener, D-Trans is a focus. Certainly both teams will have a focus on how do you defend the fast break of both teams. They've got athletes that can put on the floor like Christy Wallace then that can get on the rim, sucker a foul, get to the free throw line.
Having a phenomenal season, her first in purple. Really evolving as a point guard under the tutelage of Christy Harrower.
Yeah, not a bad position to be in when you come and play under a veteran coach like Chris Lucas. He's a great player developer. He knows how to win, and then to play under an assistant coach that's a four-time Olympian, one of Australia's great point guards.
Cole adds 2. Flyers up by 3. Murray, her sharp shooting so important, adds another dimension to this Boomers offense. Here's Mitchell from long range. Nelson Adoda and Bishop scrap over it. Abby can't keep it alive. Abby saying she pushed me.
Looked like she might have had 2 hands on and pushed her, but the referee said...
Boomers ball. Here's another look.
Oh, I think she may have had a hand on and given her a little nudge.
No harm done as the Flyers get the ball back. Here's Rocci. Looking for an option. It's got Cole to the right. Goes Bishop left to Thornton. Nelson-Ododa guarding Kayla at the moment. Will she shoot over the top? She will. George picks up the rebound. Off to Mitchell. Again, the Boom is keen to get some speed on the ball before the Flyers get an opportunity to set their defence. Murray. Now Wallace. George gets in a position against Blitzarves. Tries to duck underneath. Can't finish. Mitchell. Thornton pinches it. Chance here for the Flyers. Cole from the corner. Wrong foots. Wallace and finishes.
Finish. All driven by the Southside Flyers defence. They're switching defensively on some of that ball screen action. Get a stop.
And Mitchell gets to the rack. So at the moment, the Boom is happy to play this high-tempo game.
They are, both teams shooting pretty early in the shot clock in that first 8 to 10 seconds. See now Southside settle into a half-court set.
Bishop, not for long, pulls the trigger. Nelson-Ododa to Wallace. Again, Mitchell just looking to get to the rack at every opportunity. Doesn't finish. Couple of misses early for Tiff.
It's a little bit of a nervous start on the break for the Melbourne Boomers. Shots that they'd normally drop.
Shooting clips is going to be so important tonight. Defensive work on Bishop. Jars the ball free. Melbourne come up with it. Wallace, George, Mitchell in the corner. Goes there now. Back to Kayla. Off to Wallace.
Got a mismatch here.
Nelson-Ododa versus Rochi. Not much Maddie could do as she tried to hold her ground.
Hold the ground and maybe grab the limb of the bigger post play that rolls you down. We saw pretty heavy contact on Bishop there on the replay.
All ball there from Murray, according to the referees.
Big Bishop into the starting lineup will consume a lot of the minutes vacated by the injured Lauren Jackson.
Some a different dimension, can push the pace a little bit more. George works it with Nelson-Ododa. Back to Kayla, who drains it. Scores level.
Wow, quick release. Quick high release on that three-point shot, Kayla George. Sure, it's on their scanner report. Can you run her off that three-point line? Easier said than done.
Hit the midway point of the opening term. Scores level. Thornton to the corner for Rochi. Called for the travel.
She's not impressed by that call of the referees. She felt it was a legitimate shot fake and then put the ball down.
So to the Melbourne ball as Maddie takes a seat. This game being played at breakneck speed early. Lep into the game for the Boomers. This is Wallace up against Conti, who's checked in. Wallace just blows by the opposition D, but again, another open layup missed by the Boomers. Here's Cole, who's got Blitzarves in good position. Holds it up. Kicks it back out to Thornton. She wants to work on Wallace. Cole steps inside Mitchell, gets to the rack herself. Well played, Bet Cole.
Straight back at you. Both teams with guards that can get downhill, put the ball on the floor, get to the rim.
6 points for Beck, leads the game early. Mitchell to George versus Thornton. Kayla versus Kayla, back out to Tiff. Pass just a little wayward, tidied up by Ortlep. Wallace saw a window, but it closed quickly. Ambitious pass, misses Mitchell.
Good playing team defence then by the Southside Flyers. Rochi stepped into that gap.
What have you made of the opening 6 minutes?
Yeah, as we say, it's been offense. Everyone, pretty quick shooting. I think the coaches want a bit of tidy up on defensive containment, particularly against the guard play.
Cole been busy. Blitzarves had a PB against the Boomers earlier in the season, 41 points. Conti behind the back. Ernst, ball movement to Thornton for the highlight. Oh, yes!
What team offense was that? Little highlight reel behind that pass. Patience, swung the ball, extra pass, wide open shot.
Wallace and Conti come together. George, the open shot, won't drop. Well done, Carly Ernst. Feeds it to Cole. Flies up by 4 here. Bounce pass looking for Blitzarves. Does well, gets the handle and finishes. Flyers kick away to a little break here. They lead by 6.
Massive momentum timeout call here by Coach Chris Lucas. He's had enough of that.
Great control from Blitzarves. This timeout brought to you by CTM Sport. If you're considering travelling interstate with your team, visit ctmsport.com.au for a competitive, innovative and customised travel solution.
Turn the ball over. We're playing too quick. Slow down. Okay, slow down. Okay. JJ with the curl on the end. Okay, curl on the end. All right, everyone got it. Post touches, plus the other end defensively. There's too much middle penetration. Cole just went right hand downhill. Come on.
We spoke about the Boomers going at breakneck speed, and we knew Chris Lucas wouldn't like that. And you look at their two-point shooting percentage right now, they're 3 for 10 from two-point range. And you think of those open layups that they've missed. Mitchell's missed a couple. George has missed an open shot. You then look at Southside from two-point range, 8 for 11.
Yeah, and that's because they've been able to do what they want to do, get out on the break. I mean, we saw that last offensive set where they worked the ball. Prior to that, it's all been quick shooting, ball on the deck. Chris Lucas wants to stop to that defensive containment, slow the tempo, and get some inside-outside action offensively.
Boomers run that play at the top of the arc. Mitchell can't finish. Thornton can. Off to Potch, wide open. Flyers are rolling here. They're up by 8. Megs, you're in their huddle.
It was a team contribution in the Flyers huddle. Bet Cole happy with the D-trans. Cheryl Chambers happy with the offense but wants improved D. And Kayla Thornton implored her teammates to continue to guard Tiffany Mitchell.
Right now, the Flyers have it on their terms. They have it at the speed they want. Up to the Boomers now, as you mentioned, in your keys to the game, Carrie, to control the tempo, and for them, that means running some half-court sets. As Blitzarves does a great job, knocks it away to Potch. Will she go herself? She will, can't finish. Thornton tidies it up. They're up by 10.
Massive. Might see Chris Lucas blow another timeout shortly.
He might blow his stack as well.
He certainly will.
Wallace works on Conti. Well done. Thornton came across. George from long range. They needed it. The skipper delivers.
Captain 3. Huge three-point bucket for Kayla George. Just what they needed.
Margin back to 7. Conti. What a season she's having. Blitzarves back to Moncon from long range. Front iron. Ernst slapped away by Wallace. Flyers ball.
Mismatch down low then. Carly Ernst had the smaller Christy Wallace guarding out. Conti elected to take the perimeter shot as we saw Kayla George step up for her team big.
Let's go courtside, Megs.
Number 40 for the Melbourne Boomers has subbed into the game. It is Leilani Mitchell for her first minutes with the Melbourne Boomers.
In her 6th WNBL club. What impact can she have? She has the ball immediately. First game in 15 months. Puts it out in front of Murray. Tiff Mitchell. Davidson's checked into the game. Puts the spin move on. Big night for Panina. Some really important minutes for her tonight.
Huge for, you need your role players to step up and come big with 2 or 3 quality minutes. That she did. Coach Chris Lucas called for some inside touches. She posted up strong. One-on-one post clinic down low.
And the Boomers have halved the deficit and will get another opportunity as Blitzarves throws it away from Conti. So that 10-point lead back to 5, and it's a Boomers ball.
And that's what these great teams can do. 10 points can be a scary buffer, but 1 or 2 great offensive sets, a defensive stop, and you're back within touch. So it's you've done the work to get that momentum back. Now can they capitalise on it? The Melbourne Boomers get half-court execution, go back to what Coach Chris Lucas called for, an inside touch, and who better than to drive the offensive organisation than Leilani Mitchell?
And he had one training session with this team. Going to be fascinating. Mitchell does get to the rack, but doesn't finish again. So Tiff 2 for 7 in this opening term. She could be in double figures. Blitzarves around George. Kicks it out to Conti for the big deep 3. No good. Panita comes up with the rebound off to Mitchell.
Not sure that Coach Cheryl Chambers will be happy with that shot selection by Mon Conti. Deep 4. 3-point shot.
George puts it on the floor, goes against Bishop and draws a foul. It just feels like, Carrie, the last couple of minutes, the Boomers have started to settle into the game.
Yeah, look, I think they've taken heed with what Coach Chris Lucas said to them in a timeout. Can we get some inside touches, slow the tempo, let's execute, and can we contain defensively? They've done that. They've forced, Southside Flyers have taken 2 deep-range 3-point shots. Melbourne Boomers are executing their offense back in the ballgame. Kayla George nails these 2. It's back to a 3-point ballgame.
7 points for Kayla early. What a season she's having. One of the MVP favourites. In year 15 of her WNBL career.
Yeah, she's like a red wine, getting better with age.
Conti. It's deflected. It'll remain a Southside ball as Melbourne start to increase their defensive pressure. There's Maddie Rocci.
Some great individual matchups on the floor. Conti, Leilani Mitchell, Rochi and Mitchell.
Davidson swats it away. Maddie wanting the call again, saying she was fouled. Here's another look. Carry your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there was a fair bit of heavy contact on the first crossover move past Mitchell. A little foul there, perhaps. And certainly a hard hit from Davidson.
It's the final minute of the opening term. Boomers trailed at 1 point by 10. Margin now 3. Rochi inbound to Cole. Started well, 6 points early. Bishop back to Rochi, looking for an opening. Ernst from long range is often dangerous.
Wow, she has impact for them. You know, when you can bring in someone 6'5" that can shoot the three like a perimeter player, has a massive punch.
Helped the Boomers win a title doing exactly that last season. Murray, George feeds it inside. Davidson again and one.
Wow.
Great start here for Penina Davidson.
As the coach called, gets some inside touches. She does a great job, Davidson, sealing her man deep on the rim and gets the benefit of a call from the referees.
She'll hate me for saying this, but she looks like she's got some confidence. We've had a laugh about this a couple of times. She goes, don't talk about confidence. I've got confidence. I just need to put it in the bottom of the hoop. And she does. She's got 5 points.
Converts.
Rochi. Cole. Wrong foot, good child who sticks to the task. Bishop. Hops it over the top. Nicely weighted ball, but no room there for Rochi. So back out to Ernst. More of the same from Carly.
Wow, inside-outside action for the Southside Flyers. Conti, this time much better decision. Gets her feet in the lane, spits it out to the hot hand.
Final shot. Boomers didn't quite read the shot clock there at the end and get that shot away. Entertaining opening term. Tied early. Flyers kicked away. Boomers came back, and at quarter time, it's Southside by 6. Flyers 26, Boomers 20. Frenetic opening term. The Flyers out to a 10-point lead at one stage. Melbourne just playing above their ideal tempo. They managed to settle things down. Carrie Graff got it back to within 3 points before a late shot there from the Flyers. Back out to a 6-point margin as we start the second term.
Yeah, high octane. I mean, look at this, 26-20 in the first quarter. We're looking like we're on track for a 100-point ball game.
So Christy Wallace, Boomers' first possession in the second term. Tiff Mitchell 2 for 7 in the opening term. Shooting at 48% this season. Inside to Nelson Adoda. Shakes Bishop. Good start for Olivia and one.
Wow. Coach Chris Lucas has seen the reward from that first half when they went inside, interior post passing, First to Panina Davidson, now to Nelson Adoda. Well executed.
12 of their 22 points in the paint in that opening term.
They needed that, and we saw, the guards were missing on the break early, but certainly their posts have stepped up, their legit posts have stepped up, and then, Kayla George stretches it with her three-point shots.
Rochi to Poch. He's Thornton in some space. She's having a good season. Up to 9 points.
Massive for them.
Averaging 17 a game, Kayla Thornton. Wallace, lovely step, blows past Rochi and draws the foul on Cole.
Southside Flyers, a little frustrated. They're getting everything called.
A little bit of chip between the two teams as well. It was Bet Cole, the former Boomer.
Crosstown rivalry. Oh, yeah, a little unlucky there. I think that contact was all initiated by Christy Wallace. Bet Cole doing her best to get out of the way, but the referee made the call. Christy Wallace is at the line to convert and one.
She's back to a 2-point margin.
The interior attack by the Melbourne Boomers. Post touches inside, penetrations inside.
So 2-point game, opening minute, second term. Second spot up for grabs. This is ESPN's WNBL Game of the Week, one of the games of the season. Rochi almost tossed it away. Poch almost had it slapped away by Wallace. Cole versus Goodchild. Two players both light on their feet. Cole gets a look. Won't finish this time. Great board. Abby Bishop keeps it alive. Poch. Rochi from long range. Big three.
Wow. A plethora of athletes that can shoot the three consistently for both teams. So we'll see Maddie Rochi light it up.
Again, they go inside. This is George to Nelson Adoda. This time it is slapped free. Thornton, bounce pass, cut off by George. And the Boomers can settle through Christy Wallace.
Talked about controlling the tempo. Christy Wallace there, letting her team know we want to get a good execution here. And another inside touch.
Can't finish. Pressure just enough from Southside. Rochi pulls up. Foot on the line. That'll be a deep two.
Rochi feeling it off the back of that last three-pointer.
Margin back out to 7, just like that. Both these teams so potent, capable of getting on quick scoring runs. A 10-point margin can disappear or open up in the blink of an eye. George.
Great matchup up top, mismatch now. Rochi on Kayla George with the turnaround.
Nelson Adoda couldn't control it. Big opportunity here. Thornton gets an open look. Margin in a heartbeat is back out to 9 points. The Flyers are in control once again.
Again, led by their defensive intensity. They're happy to switch. They don't mind a little mismatch with their guards, and it allows them to do this. Get out on the break and run. Score in that first 5, 6, 7 seconds of the shot clock.
Let's head to Megs.
Well, I am with the loudest voice in the State Basketball Centre. She's come all the way from Texas, introducing Martine Thornton. You are very vocal. Can the Flyers win this tonight?
Oh, that's just comes natural. Just get excited about the game.
How excited are you to be here in Melbourne, Australia, watching your daughter Kayla, who's having an incredible debut season in the WNBL?
Oh, it's such a blessing. Melbourne is gorgeous, and I've had a magnificent time in Melbourne. It's been great.
Love to hear that. Kayla took you out on the Yarra River in a boat. You had a lovely time.
Oh, yes. And then we went to the Habitat, and then we went to the play.
You saw Mary Poppins.
Yes, we saw Mary Poppins. I mean, she has just taken me all over the city.
Well, that's great to hear. You are seeing the best show in town tonight, though. The Melbourne Derby, the Flyers and the Boomers. I'll let you get back to enjoying it and barracking hard.
Yes, they're going to win.
Thanks to Martine Thornton. Olivia Nelson Adoda's mum, Heather, also came out to Australia, spent about 5 or 6 weeks here across the summer. Great opportunity to bring family over, get a little taste of home, deal with the homesickness just a little bit, being half a world from home. Parents get to come over, have a lovely summer, get out of the winter over in the States. Everyone wins.
Absolutely. And for any of the athletes, the pro athletes, same for our Aussie athletes that play overseas, you get a chance to explore the world and have your family come visit.
The Boomers, critical minutes here, they trail by 9. Mitchell, George, Nelson Adoda loses her footing. Couple of costly slips late against the Fire last week in that double overtime epic. Cole sets up for 3. Front iron.
And Southside Flyers happy to push tempo. And they're dominating this rebound contest, 19-7 on the boards. Melbourne Boomers have got to do something about that.
Mitchell, she's not finding her range so far tonight. Murray, back to Tiff. George. Wallace, shot clock down to 6. Kayla makes it.
Tough signature Kayla
It's a
George.
bread and butter shot, isn't it?
It
For
is.
everyone else, it's near impossible. Kayla makes it 9 times out of 10.
She shoots that just with a little inside-out pivot, leans off it, tough to guard.
Thornton to Rochi, gets the screen. Maddie being guarded by Mitchell. Blitzarves against Mia Murray. Wow, lovely step, can't finish but draws a foul.
All handling skills then on show by Sarah Blitzarves. Southside Flyers doing a great job penetrating, putting the ball on the floor, threatening this Melbourne Boomers defence. Just see Mia Murray just didn't have the feet to keep her in front.
So reminiscent of their first 2 contests this season where the Boomers are chasing the game, and that's what's happening right now. The margin is ebbing and flowing between 3 and 10 points, but Carrie as a team, it's tiring to be always chasing, isn't it?
Absolutely, and certainly, you know, that's one of the tactics clearly for the Southside Flyers is they want to play up tempo. They've got depth. They can rotate their players through. You know, they don't have any player that averages more than 30 minutes a game, so they go legit 8 deep. They rotate you. They extend pressure on the guards. They push tempo. You know, the Melbourne Boomers, on the other hand, have a shorter rotation. That, you know, they got 5 players that average more than 30 minutes. So if the Southside Flyers can keep this tempo up, it bodes well for them come the end of the game when they've maybe playing a more fatigued opponent.
Mitchell 2 for 9 now. Tiff Mitchell, his Blitzarves at the other end. Tied up by Wallace. The go-ahead pass, well done Blitzarves. Breaks up the pass to Davidson.
And again, their defensive transition. Blitzarves was getting that back there to that safety spot. Had enough nous about her and length to shake that one loose.
George the inbound. Davidson. Now Tiff Mitchell, can she get hot? Murray. Won't go. Rochi. Feeds it out. Blitzarves is wide open. Won't drop.
Got out of jail. Melbourne Boomers then.
Davidson. Wallace light on her feet. Offensive foul.
Beck Cole's happy with that one. Great defence. Got her feet in front.
Leilani Mitchell questioning the call from the bench. Here's another look.
I think she was there. From this position, I think she was there. She had her body there. Anticipated well. Beck Cole, we know she's a specialist defender, rugged defender. And you know, on the break, Wallace is going to go to the rim.
So scoring dried up just a little. It's 10-8 in the first half of this second term. Bishop gets things rolling for the Flyers. And once again, they're back out to that double-digit lead.
Let's see if the Melbourne Boomers will execute here, try and control tempo. Get the ball back inside that, potentially back to the well.
Davidson to George. Now Wallace looking for some movement. She gets open, can't finish. It's been the story of the night for the Boomers so far, getting some looks. And when they're on song, Carrie, and they're making those shots, they're just about unbeatable. But on nights like tonight, when Tiff Mitchell's 2 for 9 and Kayla's 3 for 7, they're very beatable.
They are. And having said that, very beatable, but also they can flick that switch and suddenly you go you're 2 of 7 and then you're suddenly, you know, 8 from 16. So they've got enough talent to swing this thing around. A long time to go in this game, but they've got to do something on the boards. I mean, they're getting absolutely pummeled on the glass. 21-12 on the rebound count. You know, and that's allowing, you know, Southside Flyers are getting stops. They're making you shoot tough shots, overhand, rebound the ball, run it down your throat.
It's been exactly the game plan for the Flyers coming in. Wallace wants some movement. George provides it. Here's Mitchell. Can Tiff get rolling? That'll help.
Can't make a layup, but she can hit a 3 overhand. Gosh, she's a talent. You know, as we say, that's the scary thing. Great players can be missing shots, but they can turn it back around and nail one.
Well done, Murray. Can go herself. Conti does just enough. Wallace comes flying in over the top.
That might even get a player of the day in the AFLW.
Great work there from Conti. Did just enough.
Old school Specky.
Another layup goes begging for the Boomers. That one a contested one as Wallace takes a seat. Tess Madgen sideline. Frustrated looking Christy Wallace.
Sometimes it can be that trying a bit too hard, you know, and I think we saw that early too with Tiff Mitchell, you know, going to what you do well, put the ball on the deck, get downhill, get on the rim, but when they're not dropping it, that little tension comes in. You know, this has got finals flavour about it. The intensity's high, the stress is high.
Ernst, a couple of big threes in that opening term. Them kick away early. Cole, Thornton, rains another.
Gosh, she's smooth and tough.
Leilani Mitchell back into the action, off to Tiff Mitchell. Tries to blow past Ernst, she'll kick it out. Murray from the corner. Not this time.
Good look then, deep penetration from Mitchell, spits it out to the three-point specialist, Mia Murray, who's had a great season.
Boomers 3 for 7 from long range so far tonight. Southside 3 from 11, so that hasn't been the difference in the game. Thornton working on Mitchell, spins, can't finish. Here's Leilani Mitchell. Looks around for an option. Goes to Tiff Mitchell. Back to Leilani. Murray cuts to the baseline. Mitchell of the Tiff variety starting to warm up.
That's it. As we said, can't get a layups to drop, but she can nail that three. Still looking a little frustrated, but great stroke.
She's just such a perfectionist, Carrie. You just know, gets in her own head early, really frustrated, but one thing she does is just grit her teeth and double down on her effort and nails a couple of big shots here to keep the Boomers in touch. Margin at 7 points. This time out brought to you by Cygnett. And for Cygnett's top-class range of charging products, head to cygnett.com. Here's Chris Lucas.
Standard. Okay, Taylor, Mia, you got mid-joe. You got mid-joe. Okay, Mia's on this. Tiff, hand back here. Tiff is going to screen. Taylor's coming up for you. Okay, all right, so normal two down. Okay, as Tiff cuts, she'll look over her shoulder. You might get that. All right, Taylor's coming. Yep, Taylor's coming. You're coming off this. Tiff can go out that side or the other. Doesn't matter. All right, here we go.
All about offensive execution from Coach Chris Lucas, diagramming what he wanted out of that this time out.
So they're getting plenty of looks, Carrie. They're number one in the competition for field goal percentage for the season at 48%, the Boomers. Tonight going at 38. It's a little simplistic, but that's the difference, isn't it? They're just not dropping for them right now.
Absolutely, and that'll swing around. It's you know, it swings around. You might be shooting 34% now, but can you finish the game at 42? You know, just as you go in dry patches, you can get in hot patches, and we saw they're struggling to make their inside touches from the guard, but the guards have started to light it up from the perimeter. You know, no need for panic stations yet. The good players and the great teams find a way to work through offensive score droughts.
Margin sits at 7. Well done, Monconti. Southside with a happy knack so far tonight of keeping the Boomers at arm's length. Mitchell versus Rochi. Leilani to Murray. Inside to Tiff Mitchell. Waved away, offensive foul.
Now the Southside Flyers are getting some foul calls going their way. Offensive foul call again on the guard. We saw Christy Wallace with one earlier. This time Tiff Mitchell on the back down.
There's another look. Your thoughts?
Yeah, squared up, elbow to chest. I think that's a pretty decent call. Monconti sold it pretty well.
Meggs was in the last Southside huddle.
There's a piece of paper floating down the Eastern Freeway. It is the Southside Flyers scout, which has been thrown out the window according to Coach Cheryl Chambers. Tiff Mitchell and threes. It's pretty simple. They've got to stop that, but they're also very aware of Leilani Mitchell, and she's played just a tick under 4 minutes in this game so far.
Margin sits at 9, thanks Meggs. Ernst gets to good position, can't finish, but then keeps it alive by knocking it away. Good heads-up play, Carly Ernst.
Yeah, she was mismatched then too. She had Leilani Mitchell had switched on to her. As we see Rochi attack Mitchell.
Two players who know each other pretty well. Go hammer and tongs at it here. Mitchell, George, Ortlep, front iron, and away comes Conti. Over the top, Maddie Rochi in space, can pull up, balance, kick it back out. Conti closed down by Murray. Thornton Potch. Great ball movement, Southside.
You talk about controlled tempo then. Maddie Rocci threatened the fast break early, pulled it out, said let's work the ball, get ourselves a great wide open shot. Potch converts it.
Danger time here for the Boomers. They're down by 12. Game high margin at the moment for Southside. Final 2 minutes of the half. Conti. Inside ball is perfect for Thornton.
Really attacking any mismatches. If there's a defensive breakdown and switches, Southside flies in to exploit that. Going inside to Thornton.
Southside with the answers right now. George, will she take on Thornton? She will. Gets it back, loses the handle. Another stop for the Flyers.
Thornton did a great job then. Bodied up Kayla Francis. Kayla George didn't let her go by.
So impressive first half from Southside. They are making the running. The Boomers trying to come at them a number of times, but Southside continually finding the answers. Those big buckets when it matters. Potch. Rocci wants some movement. Thornton provides it. Now receives. Goes herself, does Kayla. Off the front. Important board, but Nelson Adota can't hang on. And the second chance opportunities here are killing the Boomers right now.
Dominating the boards. That's their 10th offensive rebound.
Potch is going to have to put one up. She does. Here's Wallace. And another turnover here. She'll get it back, will she? Desperate effort, Christy Wallace. It's still alive. Southside ball.
Southside really got a grip on the momentum at the moment.
See the frustration amongst the Melbourne Boomers. So much to play for. Winner tonight takes a huge step towards a top 2 finish. In fact, for the Boomers, should they lose, they almost can't make top 2, pretty much. Which means home court advantage in the finals slips through their fingers. And when Townsville's lurking,
and you can sense that, you can sense the tension for them. You know, it's almost that they're thinking about that. Clear that out of your mind, focus on the process. They'll at least get a half time to regroup and talk about it. But Southside Flyers, boy, are they controlling momentum and tempo, executing, going to mismatches, dominating the rebound contest.
Mitchell bodies Potch and gives away the foul. With 46 seconds remaining in the first half, Nadio will head to the line. What a talent she is, the 18-year-old. Came up through the Dandenong Rangers program, went to the Centre of Excellence in Canberra, graduated September of last year.
She's had a breakout season. Boy, she's been impressive. And what upside she's got.
Future opal in waiting, Nadio Potch. Exciting prospect, isn't it, when you think of the likes of Nadio playing alongside Ezzy Magbagor and the sort of athleticism and versatility and flexibility that can give that Australian team to be rotating players of that skill set through their on-court 5. It's mouth-watering as Christy Wallace.
Speaking of another opal and Australian talent.
Heads to the bench to see head physio Gayleen McKay. A little bit of blood on the elbow.
Yeah, Band-Aid will fix that. Nothing major.
Quite possibly got that when she came crashing over the pack a little earlier. Hit the floor hard.
She thought she was back in her junior AFL days.
Did play a little bit growing up in Coffs Harbour. It's wonderful to see her back. 2 knee reconstructions. The first one she did her right ACL on seniors day at college. So she's got right through her college career, about to head to the WNBA. The very last home game of her college career does her ACL. Still gets drafted by Atlanta. A year of rehab, and then does the same ACL again in her second game back for the Caps. And at that stage, she's in the wilderness. Such a talented college player. Has managed to fight her way back. She's now the Opals point guard. She's one of the best players in the WNBL. It's a great story. Well, speaking of WNBL and big nights, the awards night coming up, presented by Foot Locker. Sunday, March 5, Medallion Club at Marvel Stadium. Tables of 10. Tickets are available now. Book at WNBL.basketball. A whole range of awards to be presented. It's going to be a fantastic night. Players and coaches from all over the country converging at Marvel Stadium as Christy Wallace continues to get some attention from Gayleen McKay. And her story is just inspirational.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talk about persistence, and, you know, that's one of the long-standing Opals themes that the great Tom Ma instilled in the Opals program, relentless persistence, and that's Christy Wallace personified, you know, to bounce back at her relatively young age from 2 ACLs to be playing the way she is now.
So a bit of blood on the court off Christie's elbow, just being tidied up. That's been the delay in game. But Nadia Poch will head to the line to shoot her 2 now. Flyers by game high 14 points. They've had the answers in the first half.
They have. They're playing Flyers style, you know. Lock-up defence, they're dominating the rebound contest, they're getting out and run, they're playing a great mix of up-tempo, quick score, and then executing in the half-court when there's nothing quick.
So quick, so athletic. They've had the game on their terms for the bulk of this first half. Can Melbourne change the momentum in this second half? Can they change the tempo up? George. Looking for some movement. Ortlet provides it. Being harassed by Conti, manages to break free. Shoots over the Poch block, which did just enough to put her off. 2-second differential between shot and game clock.
Southside Flyers will be having to grind this one down. Get a decent looking shot late in the clock.
Rochi took it to the rack. Rebounded for Blitzarves. It hit her rather than the other way round.
Well, you get rewarded if you get your feet in the paint offensively, chase those boards. Things fall in your lap often, as they did for Sarah Blitzarves then.
Right place, right time, as you mentioned. And we'll smile on her face for that exact reason. So 4.5 seconds left, and it's a Southside ball. So they'll get one last shot. Blitzarves from the corner. Not quite, but again, they come up with the rebound. And in the end, the Boomers get it, but they have been belted on the boards in this first half. And that's translating to the scoreboard. We said the Flyers, if they control the rebounds, they'd control the game, and they certainly do. They lead by 17 points at the half. Plenty of work for the Boomers to do here.
Yeah, Coach Chris Lucas, it'll be scrawled all over his whiteboard. I'm sure he might stomp the foot and throw something, but he'll be demanding that they block out, you know, to give up 11 offensive boards. Just not good enough. He won't be happy with that. The possession game is critical to finals type games. If you can't win possession, you're not going to win the game, and that's part of the story for the Melbourne Boomers right now. They're getting pummeled on the possession game.
So Kayla Thornton leads the game with 15 points. Here she is with Megs.
She sure is, Kayla. It's been an unbelievable effort to restrict Melbourne to 34 points in a half of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, our team is doing a great job. We could do better. I think we're executing our scout well. Not to a T, but we're doing okay. Melbourne, they're missing a lot of easy shots, so we got to come back second half and stay to our rules.
I mean, it's super important you win this game. You can lock up a top 2 spot.
Absolutely, but I mean, we just have to take one quarter at a time. We have to come back, and we have to bring the intensity up.
The loudest fan in the house tonight is your mum, Martine. How is it playing in front of your mum in Australia?
Man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to do what I do, to be able to have her out here and watch her play. Words can't explain. I'm just honored to be playing in front of my mom.
Well, you're putting on a show for her. Thanks, Kayla. Have a great second half.
Been outstanding, Kayla Thornton. The Boomers averaging 87 points a game. They've been held to 34 in the first half. It's Southside 51, Melbourne 34. Half-time at State Basketball Centre, our Wednesday night ESPN WNBL game of the week. The Flyers came into this one having beaten the Boomers twice this season, and they're going about it again tonight. They lead by 17 points, 51-34. The Flyers holding the Boomers, who average 87 points a game, to just 14 points in that second term, Carrie. And your number one key to the game tonight was win the boards for Melbourne. Well, they have been absolutely obliterated. 31-16 to half-time, and everything good from the Flyers is coming from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Chris Lucas will be having conniptions in the halftime talk about the rebound contest. In playoffs, in games that matter, you don't win possession, you got no chance. You know, if they can address that, particularly the offensive boards. I mean, the second chance point for the Southside Flyers are almost what the margin is. So if they can tidy that up, they're back in the game. But if they don't address that, I'm calling game over.
The shot differential, 46 shots to 34 at half-time. The Flyers have had 12 more shots in this game. That's enormous.
Well, and a lot of that come from the offensive boards. You know, you get offensive boards, you get second attempts. So other than the first couple of minutes, they've totally controlled momentum. They've played to their strengths. They've got defensive stops, got out and run, dominated the boards. They adjusted to some of the defensive the offensive penetration that the Boomers threw at the Southside early. But boy, Southside Flyers are looking hot tonight.
They have been extremely impressive in getting the game on their terms and keeping it there. So from a Melbourne perspective, no, they're down on the rebound count. They have to get on the glass to have any chance of getting back into the game, Carrie. Easy to say. How do you actually do it?
Look, it's got to be a focus thing. The entire team's got to get together and say, we're going to get bodies on bodies and block out here, and we're going to get to the offensive glass if we're shooting good shots.
So there's that rebound count we spoke about. 31 rebounds to 16. The points in the paint as a result, 22 to 14. Kayla Thornton with 4 offensive boards for the night. The Boomers as a team have had 3.
Yeah, I mean, are we harping on this point? Clearly we are, and I know the coaches absolutely will be. It's actually a simple game. Those hard work things win finals games. They win games like this.
A big second half coming up for the Boomers. A top 2 spot on the line tonight. They lose tonight, they basically can't finish top 2. The Flyers have got the job half done. They lead by 17 points at the major break. Back with all the third quarter action next. It's the hottest ticket in town tonight. AFLW star Taylor Harris chatting to the AFL player Ben Brown. It's the Melbourne Derby at the State Basketball Centre, and it is all Southside Flyers at the moment. They lead by 17 points, but we've got Boomers in the house watching Boomers. I'm confused, Megs. Explain it.
Boomers tonight here at the State Basketball Centre, and tomorrow night with the Australian Boomers continuing their World Cup qualification series, playing Bahrain. Nathan Sobey is part of the leadership group and joins me now. Nathan, you must be excited to play for Australia again. Of course, it was that famous rose gold win in Tokyo was your last appearance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm stoked to be here. The camp's been great so far, and really looking forward to both games this weekend, and starting off tomorrow night will be great fun.
Tell us a bit about the squad. We were just remarking off camera that they are very young. Some of us have got jumpers that are older than some of your teammates. It is a very young and exciting group.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Most of them have come straight from the 20s in Geelong, and to have that sort of youth and talent come into the camp and have an impact straight away has been great for us, and I think Australia's in great stead moving forward.
Warrnambool boy, you played some of your basketball in Ballarat too. How important is it to bring international basketball to the Burbs?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. Obviously, from a small town to get some games out here is unreal, and obviously it's close to home, so to have some family and that come out and see those games as well means a lot.
Well, we've got a game on our hands tonight. It is the Melbourne Derby. Southside leading Melbourne at half-time. What have been your thoughts on the first half here?
It's been good. Southside had two good runs. The Boomers came back at them a couple of times, but they sort of stretched it out again, so it'll be a great second half.
Tickets still available for tomorrow night's game, available on Ticket Tech, so I'm sure you want to see plenty out here tomorrow.
Yeah, we're trying to get it as full as we can. It'll be great fun.
Thanks for your time, Nathan. Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks to Nathan Sobey. Best of luck to the Boomers this weekend. And the Boomers, the other Boomers, need plenty of luck in this second half. They've got to work their way back, Carrie Graff. How are they going to do it?
Hard work. Look, and I think that it's got to be all done on the rebounding on the boards, both offensive boards and defensive boards block out. And I think the Melbourne Boomers got to go back inside. We saw Davidson score 2-foot shots early. We saw Nelson Adota score 2-foot shots. See if they can go back to a bit of that inside game that got them easy baskets. Hard to miss shots when you're 2 foot from the rim.
We've only had 4 shots between them, Panina and Olivia Nelson Adota, and they've made 3 of them.
And we heard Coach Chris Lucas call that, execute some plays, go inside early in that second quarter.
Well done, Wallace. Tries to slap it away, can't quite control it. Thornton puts it on the floor, pulls up, can't get it to drop. There's another rebound. Blitzarves, Cole. This time George comes away with it for Melbourne. They dodge a bullet there.
They've got mobile, they've got bodies that can rebound those 3-4 types, like Blitzarves, like Thornton.
Mitchell to George. And their big names get hot in this second half. They can pour on points in a hurry. Number 1 scoring team in the league. George, well done, Bishop. Good second effort. The first was great, the second even better.
Someone she knows well. They went to the AS together, the Centre of Excellence. They played on many national junior teams together.
Cole to Rochi. Such an impressive performance so far from the Flyers. Thornton. Beck Cole, here is Bishop. Gets to the rack. Doesn't finish, it pings around. Murray can tidy it up for Melbourne.
Getting the Southside Flyers on the offensive glass, getting hands on ball.
Wallace, so good from that mid-range. She's really made it her money shot in this WNBL season. Marching back to 15.
She has, and that's what they needed. You could see her almost breathe a sigh of release. I've made one.
Have they looked a little tight to you tonight, Carrie, the Melbourne Boomers?
Absolutely. I think other than that first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, I think they've really started to tighten up. Christy Wallace looked frustrated. Tiff Mitchell looked frustrated. You know, big margin like this, it's you know what's on the line.
But Bishop misses an open shot there. Can the Boomers capitalise? Mitchell. Wallace, they just need a spark to get something going here, and when they get on a roll, they can be irresistible. Who's going to be the engine starter? Mitchell.
Again, we see the switching defence from the Southside Flyers.
Struggling to get an open shot tonight, the Boomers. Wallace goes from long range.
Credit to the Southside Flyers defensively. They're wreaking havoc.
Early on, there were plenty of contested shots for both teams, but they've certainly dried up. Big screen from Bishop on Wallace. Well done, Nelson Adota. Swats away that shot from Rochi. Wallace on the burst. Tries to get past Thornton. Draws a foul. Shot won't drop, but she'll go to the line.
Nice attack on the break from Wally. We know she can get downhill quick. Finds a way to make connection with the body, get herself to the line.
So difficult to be in that position when you're Kayla Thornton. Not much you can do. And Wallace did well to draw the contact, head to the stripe.
She did. Really started, you know, can she make an impact in these first few minutes for a team? Get a couple of cheap baskets on the break. Yeah, I don't think that's really been their issue. It's can they then execute in the half court? Can they get some inside touches? And critically, can they make a change to the rebounding contest?
Margin back to 13. Rochi bounces it to Thornton. Move comes from Blitzarves. Draws contact on Nelson Adota.
Again, the tempo control by the Southside Flyers. Once they get you into that half court, they're happy to execute there. Get the right cutting actions and reads off their screens and their sets. You see the foul count there. Tiff Mitchell with 3 for the Boomers.
Wallace makes 2 free throws at one end. Now Blitzarves to respond at the other.
Lucas with a few words to the referee on the sideline there.
George wants Mitchell. Puts a screen on, bounces the pass back. Short shot, but Murray tidies it up. Wallace wide open as a result. That won't go either. George tries to come over the top. Well done, Blitzarves. Once again comes away at speed. Rochi, aggressive as always. Cole, she puts it on the floor. Runs into some traffic, but Thornton's open.
Wow, just patience and poise. Penetrate, spit it out, penetrate, spit it out. They just wait for the right look to come, and they're nailing it. Southside Flyers, great sense of momentum, when to run, when to quick shoot, when to run half-court sets.
Nelson Adota works on Bishop. Draws the foul.
Right idea there. Going back inside, can they get themselves to the free throw line? If nothing else, can they get to the free throw line, chip away at this margin?
Frustrated Abby Bishop. Not happy with the call. There's that ball movement Carrie Graf speaking of.
Just their patience, you know, didn't force the penetration in to force a shot. Maintained balance, spat the ball back out for a wide open 3 for Thornton.
Shooting at 74% from the stripe this season. Olivia Nelson Adota misses the first, misses the second.
Speaks to tension of the group, doesn't it? 18 down, midway through the third quarter, in a game that's all about second spot.
Maddie Rochi, not happy. There's the foul. Heavy contact on her way through the traffic.
Maddie Rochi imploring the referee or suggesting perhaps that was leaning on the intentional side. Excellent free throw shooter, Maddie Rochi. In fact, so many of this Southside Flyers team shoot over 80% from the line. It's elite.
Nelson Adota. It's to Wallace, and the margin is out to 20. Game high for the Flyers. Boomers yet to make an impression in this third term. They've got 6.5 minutes to start working their way back. George, Mitchell.
Again, we see switching defense by the Southside
Well done,
Flyers.
Thornton. Swaps it away. Melbourne unable to get fluency on offense. Cole just keeps it alive. Rochi, so dynamic. Bishop, feet set. And fouled on the 3-ball. Ouch.
4th personal foul for Christy Wallace. Big ouch. Bishop to go to the line to shoot 3. Wallace will take a seat on the bench. In comes Leilani Mitchell.
Frustrated Christy Wallace. Up against her old team. Played at the Flyers last season. Things are getting out of control here for Melbourne. There's a bigger picture here carrying all of this beyond even just the top two finish. The likelihood that these teams could well meet again in a couple of weeks come finals time.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the Melbourne Boomers, you know, this is clearly a team that's a thorn in their side. The Southside Flyers down by more than 20 in this third quarter of a do-or-die for second spot match. Haven't beaten this team all year. You may well play them in a semi-final. You want to make a statement that you can make a run back, that you can adjust through the course of a game.
Need to start finding some things that will work for them. A way to take Southside out of their comfort zone. George loses a handle on that. She's fouled in the process. Thornton not happy.
Thornton, as we said, putting on a show for her mum. Her mum's out here visiting from the US. Boy, is she impressive. Outside game, inside game. Dominant on the glass this evening. Really sets a standard for her team. Leading point scorer, leading rebounder. Great import. Southside Flyers' defence has been superb, particularly in this third quarter. Happy to switch, happy to get in the grill of star athletes, make them uncomfortable, take away what it is they like to do.
Control this game by 22 points. Still plenty of time. Midway through the third term. Boomers need to start finding something that works for them here. What's their go-to? How do they work their way back? Davidson. Heavy contact off the ball, and that's against Mitchell on Potch.
Again, frustration call there. Mitchell nudged her off. The referee's caught it.
That's a fourth on Tiff Mitchell as well. So she'll sit down. So no Wallace, no Mitchell. Big margin. This is ugly for Melbourne right now.
Danger time. Have they got an answer? Can they regroup? Can Kayla George light up, step up? Can they go back inside to Davidson? Go back inside to, well, not Nelson O'Dota. She's sitting on the bench.
Ernst. Rochi. It's been everywhere. That pass deflected. Here's a chance for Mitchell. Leilani flings it ahead. It's slapped away. It will remain a Boomers ball.
Southside Flyers, great job on defensive transitions, bringing people back to the bucket, tapping the ball away, guarding that rim.
Melbourne United coach Dean Vickerman watches on. Murray inbounds to Leilani Mitchell, and again, the little things, they're doing it well. The fundamentals, Southside. This time it's Ernst slapping it away.
Again with her length. Played on the top side of Davidson there, just used her 6'6" length. Tapped that one away.
And again, Rochi knocks it clear, giving Melbourne nothing right now.
And Coach Cheryl Chambers talks about her team often, if they're focused on defence, good things happen. You know, it's their defence that drives their offence.
Oh, switched on at the moment. Davidson to Mitchell. This has been a defensive masterclass from Southside to this point against a team, the #1 offensive team in the competition. Murray can't get that shot away. Blitzarves just steps on the line. So a team that's averaging 87 points a game sits on 38 at the midway point of the third term.
Yeah, credit to the Southside Flyers defence. Again, we talked about maybe a little bit of tightness and tension in the Boomers camp offensively that's leading to that low field goal percentage, but you got to credit the defence of the Southside Flyers. They're all over their scout report. They're in the grill of this Melbourne Boomers team. Nothing's come easy for them offensively.
Davidson, tough shot, won't drop. Rebound count sits at +16 to Southside, and everything good has flowed from that. Extra shots, chance to control the tempos, chance to get out on the break. Cole can't finish. It will remain a Southside ball. Goodchild couldn't quite keep it alive.
And the composure of the Southside Flyers team, they're playing at the right tempo in the half court. Not in a hurry. They're looking heads up. How can they dissect you? Can they go to a mismatch? Can they put the ball on the deck?
Conti bounds to Cole, trying to shake Goodchild. They trouble team, and that left Ernst open.
You know, simple little pick and pop off the ball screen. Coach Chris Lucas won't be happy with that defence.
Carly Ernst playing her role superbly. 8 points off the bench, 3 for 5 shooting. A couple of big ones early in the game to help establish a lead. Drops another 2 there.
Clearly a miscommunication on that defensive set.
This timeout brought to you by DIY Blinds. To fit out your home with Australian-made designer quality window furnishings, head to DIYblinds.com.au to order your free samples today.
Yes, correct. Yep. And then you set the screen and you go. Okay, now defensively, for one play here, we're showing our zone. I'm going to yell one anyway. As soon as the ball reverses back to a man, it's only for this one play. As soon as they what? As soon as they reverse it, like normal. So we'll all yell it. If you feel like you need to yell it, we can do it, okay? Just one play. Here we go, defend. Southside.
Let's head to Megs, who is in the Melbourne huddle.
The Boomers are going to go to a zone to look to try and break this scoring drought. They've only scored 4 points in this second half to date. Taylor Ortlep into the game, replacing veteran Mia Murray.
So, Carrie, it's not necessarily about this game, which might be gone. If they can get on a run, they'll still give themselves a chance, but the margin's 24 points. It's more about what they've got for the future. What can they find that works?
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got two of their starters sitting out with four fouls. As we see him go inside then to Kayla George.
That's the one thing that has worked for them tonight, getting it inside. Easier said than done, because Southside's defence has denied it.
And Southside then were, playing a little mix, little tricks there, show zone, go man, vice versa.
And it's can't finish. Away goes Goodchild. Now to George. Can Davidson get to the inside position? Miller just pulls the trigger. And no one there to rebound it.
And for Coach Chris Lucas, now at what point do you say, look, we're cooked with Wallace and Mitchell? Do we inject them back in and have one more run? Do we try and execute something? Do we try and find a way to score, as you say, against their switching defence, against their pressure?
George to Leilani, getting some minutes. Her first game in 15 months. The Boomers debut against a team she won a championship with in 2020, the hub season. That one slapped away, and his Blitzarves, who's played her role superbly tonight.
And the defensive pressure from Rochi, from Conti, from Cole, their ability to rotate through those guards that can extend their pressure.
Potch wants to take on the traffic, keeps it alive. Ernst, not this time.
But again, you see the Southside Flyers flood the offensive glass. They know when someone's taking a shot. Sarah Blitzarves, Potch, both with their feet in the key. They've created opportunity for second chance shots.
No one under the hoop here for the Boomers at all. Goodchild goes herself, and it won't matter. She lays in two. And a handy pickup this season. Another Goodchild coming off the bench. Threw herself down from Brisbane to get a tryout with Chris Lucas. Did enough, impressed, and got herself a WNBL contract. Here's Ortlep, another to join the team midway through the season. Mitchell versus Cole. Leilani comes up with it, keeps it alive for George. Final 2.5 minutes of the third term. Margin sits at 22. Kayla looking for an option. Leilani presents.
So hasn't got the foot speed. We know she's not going to be match fit yet. Leilani Mitchell. Beck Cole defended her well, kept her body in front, forced a tough shot over her hand.
Conti, short. It's a tough matchup first up for your first game in 15 months to have the likes of Conti and Rochi and Cole. That relentless pressure rotating through you. It doesn't get tougher.
We're probably talking about three of the top 5 point guard defenders.
Again, they get it inside to Davidson. Panini comes up with two more.
Southside Flyers happy now to walk the ball up, executing the half court, see how they can attack this 2-3 zone that the Melbourne Boomers are throwing right now. See if they can create some change up, run out of this zone defence.
Cole to Potch, lovely find, can't finish, wins it herself and puts it back.
Again, the offensive boards. I mean, one of the challenges when you go to zone defence, you're not matched up on a player. A little hard sometimes to find someone to block out.
Mitchell to George. There's Davidson to tidy up, draws a foul. So when Chris Lucas and Christy Harrow are breaking this down and saying, look, if we come up against the Flyers again come finals time, one potential competitive advantage, is it that George, Davidson inside? Like, who matches up for the Flyers on that matchup? It's Abby Bishop.
Yeah, look, I think they've got to explore that. They'll go back and cut this tape. Look, can they make a run in the fourth quarter, perhaps? But certainly they'll be going back to the drawing board and, in preparation for a potential semi-final against this team, and say, where can we find the chinks in the armour? What are the adjustments we have to make? How do we attack their switching defence better? How do we isolate on the inside? And more than anything, how about just the old school hard work on the boards? You know, you can talk about all the offensive schemes and systems, but if you can't block out in big games, you're not going to get much done on the rebounding possession game contest.
Conti. Potch receives from Rocci, gave it to Bishop, and then gets it back. Nadio for three. Away comes Goodchild. Go-ahead pass for Davidson. Well done, Nadio, out of nowhere.
This kid can block, and I don't think she's scratched the surface yet on what a great shot blocker she can be. I mean, we know she's got length and she's got athleticism, but her timing is superb. You know, as she evolves, she'll have the ability to, can she block shots and keep the ball in play? Young shot blockers turf the thing out of bounds. You get a base out of bounds play. The great shot blockers then find a way to keep the ball in play, get a possession for their team.
Davidson runs into Ernst, jump ball. Southside relentless, giving them nothing, Megs.
That's right, Boomers have gone to their bench with 1:20 left on the clock. Chris Lucas subbed in Rachel Brewster and Lou Brown for their first minutes of the derby tonight.
Here is Lou Brown. Here's the inside ball to Davidson. Can't finish on this occasion. Gets it back, puts it back.
And look, at this stage of the season too, as a coach, you know, at what point do you say this one's cooked? We don't want to risk injury to our big minute players, our star athletes that are critical in the playoffs.
The percentage not a factor in the WNBL. It doesn't count. So whether you win by 1 or 60, it matters the same. Goodchild. Off to Brown. It's for FIBA reasons, incidentally. It's FIBA regulations. They play it that way. Is it worth considering a change to the system? Well, that's a discussion for another time. Here's Conti. Does she step on the sideline? She does. So 19-point margin, 3.9 seconds left in this third term. The Flyers adding 15 points to 13 in this third term. And they continue to dominate this critical contest, the penultimate round of the WNBL. And as we turn for home at the State Basketball Centre, it's Southside 66, Melbourne 47. Flyers by 6 points at quarter time, 17 at the half, 19 at three-quarter time as we head courtside to Megs.
Chris Lucas has gone to his starters to begin this final quarter. Tiff Mitchell and Christy Wallace back into the game with 4 fouls apiece. He wants to see aggression, 4 passes to man, the approach to start this final term.
Thanks, Megs. Margin sits at 19. Can the Boomers get something out of this final term? It may not be a win, but at least some positives to build upon for what may be a return bout in a couple of weeks' time. Murray, Nelson Adoda. Can she get to the rack? She can. Good pressure from Thornton affected the shot. Wallace knocks it away. Southside retain possession.
Good offensive attack there, and well poised in the half court. They go inside. Right idea, I think. Coach Chris Lucas has gone back to his starters. We know there's foul trouble, but he's going to have one more tilt at this one. See what they can do in this first 3 or 4 minutes of this last quarter.
Thornton. Cole. Flies with such an even spread of contributors tonight. Bishop from long range. That hurts.
That hurts.
Without slamming the door on your fingers.
Wow. And the Flyers have just had great selection. Taking the open 3 generally. A few iffies maybe in the third quarter. Conti launched some deep 4-point shots, but as we see, Tiff Mitchell just can't buy one from the perimeter then.
She comes away, has it stripped. George. Murray for 2.
Southside will be happy just to chew some clock here, execute, grind it out in the half court.
The ability to change the tempo tonight has been impressive. They've gone at breakneck speed when that's what they've been given. They've been happy to play half-court basketball and do it superbly. Their inside-outside game tonight's been spectacular.
Absolutely clinical, you know. Coach couldn't clinic or diagram that better.
Nelson Adoda scraps for it. Wallace in there as well. Tries to bounce it off. Blitzarves gets it back. Rolls around and falls. Reaching back to Bishop.
Again, the tempo control, push and probe, and patience to move the ball.
Thornton. Blitzarves saw the gap. Baseline. Boomers shut it down. George just muscles away with the ball. Late arrival from Thornton was enough. Affected the shot.
Wow, you talk about follow the scout. I mean, Thornton didn't quit on the play then. You could have easily just backed off, let Kayla George launch it, but credit to the intensity. That highlighted the intensity that the defence for the Southside Flyers has been tonight.
I've said it a few times, they've given him nothing tonight. Blitzarves.
Again, offensive boards. Rochi with the O-board.
The only easy shots the Boomers have had probably came in the first 2 minutes of the game. And they missed a couple of open ones. It's been a hard grind since then. That shot from Bishop comes up short.
Apologises to her teammate. Air ball, that's on me. Apologies.
Wallace to bring it up the floor. 12 points for George, 12 for Wallace, 10 each for Mitchell and Davidson. Here's George for 3. Makes it.
Can they make a little run here now? Can George put the team on her back?
Thornton's had 18 to lead the game for Southside. 11 to Blitzarves, 10 to Rochi. Kayla pulls up, can't make it. Blitzarves runs it down, keeps it alive. It's still there. Throws her foot at it.
Again, the possession play. Blitzarves on the O-boards, then comes up with a loose ball. It's been the difference maker tonight.
Christy Wallace challenging a call. Eight seconds left on the shot clock. Mitchell asking the question about that last call as well. Rochi against Wallace. Maddie has been spectacular tonight.
She does that super. She can get downhill. She can change direction. She can create contact. Gets herself to the free throw line often. Hard to defend. Great change of pace. Great poise. And that's the 5th on Wallace.
So
She
she'll
knew
sit
that
down.
attack.
Frustrating night for Christy.
Yeah, she looked tight from the get-go.
12 points on 4 for 11 shooting. Maddie Rochi has controlled the game this evening.
That she has. When to push tempo, when to walk tempo.
Is it short? George against Thornton. The two Kaylas collide.
Coach Cheryl Chambers won't be upset by that foul. You don't mind your athletes getting fouls, attempting to rebound the ball, and boy, the Southside Flyers done that great tonight. Dominating the rebound contest. 17 offensive boards. Phenomenal stat.
49-34 overall, plus 15 on the boards tonight for Southside. It's been the core of their success. Everything else has flowed from there. Ability to set the tempo. Well done, Bishop. Great defensive scramble again. They have been switched on defensively tonight. It has been a wonderful performance. They've scrapped and fought for everything.
That they have. They've played with playoff intensity, hands on balls, in great position defensively, following their scout report, crowding people, forcing them to take the shots that they'd rather not take. Clear path foul called, I believe.
Yeah.
2 shots in possession.
Nelson Adoda for the grab. Refs determining that Bishop was in open court. Chris Lucas just says, wow, my goodness.
He might be saying that about the rebounding attempt of his own team, but yes, he wasn't happy with that call. When things aren't going your way, they're not often going your way.
With Lauren Jackson going down, to have a player the quality of Abby Bishop to come into your starting 5 of that quality, of that experience. She's been playing her role superbly throughout the season. Her role has got a lot bigger, but isn't she doing it well?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, she's got experience. You know, she's played at major tournaments. She's played on championship teams. She knows this league.
Game number 271 tonight. She's also had a great career around the world. Cole throws it away. George picks it off. Here's Mitchell. To George. Back to Leilani. To Tiff Mitchell.
Again, the switching, swarming defence of the Southside Flyers forces another turnover.
Blitzarves wins that battle. Cole finishes and won. And Tiff Mitchell, that'll be 5 for Tiff. She fouls out of the game as well.
Tough night out for the Melbourne Boomers.
Here's Megs courtside.
Well, Graffi, you were just talking about Abby Bishop and her increased role with Lauren Jackson sidelined through injury, and I've got a note from the GOAT who says she's so proud of Abby and everyone in the team. They've been incredible tonight. And we wish Lauren Jackson all the best in her recovery from surgery.
We also wish Steph Talbot all the best, down with an ACL, Megs, as you reported this week. Tell us a little bit about Steph and her situation and whether she'll be back in time for the Paris Olympics next year.
It's terrible news for Steph Talbot, isn't it? Off the back of All-Star selection at the World Cup. She just signed a new contract with the LA Sparks in the WNBA. The timing, of course, is terrible, but Adelaide and Steph Talbot are really hopeful that she can begin her recovery after surgery and then begin what will be the rehab and the road to recovery, hopefully in time for Paris next year. So fingers crossed for Steph Talbot. She's an absolute star of international basketball. We want to see her back on the court, healthy and bigger and stronger than ever.
Member of the All-Star 5 at the World Cup last year. She was absolutely outstanding. This timeout brought to you by Aussie Hoops. Been setting the basketball foundation for kids aged 5 to 10 years of age here in Australia. So whether your kids are basketball fans or simply looking to be part of a team sport, register them at Aussie Hoops online to kickstart their journey in this great game. So 22-point margin for Southside. What has been an outstanding performance in every way. And a frustrating evening for the Boomers.
Yes, Southside have put on a clinic. They've set the tone with their defence. They've set the tone on the possession game. You know, 2 critical things that really have an impact in playoffs, in best-of-3 series. You know, the other thing that the minutes that can be consumed for the Southside Flyers, Abby Bishop in the starting lineup, Poch, is that this team can defend a little differently. They can play a lot more switching defence. You know, Bishop can guard guards, allows, you know, they can play small ball a little bit. So it makes it challenging for other teams to defend.
Another call here, something happening from the bench. Referees conferring. Chris Lucas asking the question. And now Beck will shoot. So is it for a comment that's come from the bench? It seemed to be the suggestion.
Potentially a tech foul on the bench.
Yeah. And here comes Ort. In fact, it's Goodchild. Lee Brown on the floor with Davidson, Ortlep, Leilani Mitchell, Cole, Bishop, Rochi, Blitzarves and Thornton for the Flyers. And Rochi comes away with it. What a game she's played. Made a real statement tonight up against the Opals point guard, Christy Wallace.
And the veteran, new import in Leilani Mitchell, but yeah, Rochi's controlled tempo, defended superbly.
Bishop links up with Cole. Tough finish. Blitzarves has just done her role superbly, as has Bishop. Can't beat the shot clock on this occasion. It'll be a Melbourne ball. It's been such an even spread of contributors for Southside tonight. They've played their role superbly.
And that's the strength of this team. 5 players in double digits. You know, they'll often have 3 or 4 players with 5+ assists, 3 or 4 players with 5+ rebounds.
Goodchild. Handy from long range and proves it again here. Inside 5 minutes. Rochi over the top, beautifully weighted pass, and Potch is fouled.
Interesting now.
Sorry, Thornton is fouled.
For Coach Cheryl Chambers, at what point does she take the foot off the gas, rest some of these star athletes, not risk injury? You've done your job. You don't want to pull it too soon. You know, teams can make runs, but the Melbourne Boomers have Mitchell and Wallace on the bench, fouled out.
Thornton, game high, 18 points. Really set the tone early. Her physicality, her athleticism, her competitive fire.
Her ability to defend bigs or perimeter players. She's a tough matchup for some teams. She can play outside, inside, depending on the matchup.
Very happy Flyers crowd. Why not? It has been a stellar performance from their team tonight. Brown to Ortlep.
Getting the pressure defence. Potch then using her length and athleticism.
Mitchell to Goodchild. Again, a shot off balance. This time it won't drop. Blitzarves. Conti the go-ahead pass. Just a bit big for Potch.
Might have been a nice little alley-oop. Bit of excitement down the stretch here.
Wouldn't put it past Nadia. She can do just about anything athletically. She is a incredible athlete. An exciting prospect for Australian basketball for many years to come. Goodchild, Ortlep, Davidson. He's given them something inside tonight. Spin move is nice on Ernst. Finish won't go. Tapped out. Thornton collects. Conti. Again, a searching, creative pass. This time releases Blitzarves.
Yeah, it's scary. They could go on a nice little fly again here. The Southside Flyers.
Made it look so effortless at times on offense, and then you think at the other end of the court, it's been such a grind tonight for the Boomers. They just haven't had those uncontested shots, those open opportunities. And when they have, quite often they've missed them. And that's the inferred pressure that's come from the intensity of the Flyers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been relentless. You know, their ability to adapt and switch. They don't mind getting little on big.
Let's hear what Chris Lucas has to say.
Back to man, okay, but no one speaks to the referees, anybody. Okay, it's classy in what we do. Neela, we're going Yukon red. Okay, so run the 2 side. Okay, you'll be in the corner. Okay, wait, don't shoot it quick. Wait for P, so sprint P. Okay, come down, see what you get. You have a slip, stay quick. Alright, I want you to trap the next pick and roll. Read it. Okay, read it. Okay, here we go.
Interesting point from Chris Lucas, re the referees. He said, let's be classy in what we do tonight. They have looked distracted, Carrie. They've let themselves get carried away and get distracted by referee calls, etc., and been put off their own game.
Yeah, and that happens when you're under pressure. You know, when tensions are higher, when things aren't going your way, it's easy to divert that attention to it's a referee or a foul count. That doesn't help dig you out of the hole. what helps dig you out of the hole is going back to the hard work stuff. Can you get a block out done? Can we get an offensive execution and stick to that process and not be distracted by all those other things? And Southside have done that. They've just focused on the hard work things, and it's flipped into a situation like this where they're a dominant, they'll be a dominant winner by 20 points against a classy Melbourne Boomers outfit.
Southside making a big statement here, Megs. They are giving the Boomers absolutely nothing.
That's right, Jace, but the delivery from Cheryl Chambers is always the same, no matter what the scoreboard says. She's always cool, calm and collected. The message from her in that timeout was keep defending and running, because that's awesome. Great energy on the Southside bench, so great to see Nadia Poch, Monique Conti, young players in this team having a laugh and really enjoying themselves.
Why not? You can't enjoy playing like this. You can't enjoy playing, Carrie. It's been a wonderful performance. They've turned up in a big game with huge stakes. And they've delivered. One deflected off the hands of Conti. Mitchell the go-ahead. But again, Moncon scrapping for everything. It'll be a Boomers ball. But that sums things up perfectly. 23-point game. Flyers in control. And they are not prepared to give the Boomers one easy ball.
And they want to send a message too. This is our style, and we know that it works against you, and we're not quitting. You look at the intensity they're still playing with. You wouldn't consider that you wouldn't know whether they're 1 up or 25 up.
Has Penina Davidson been the big positive for the Boomers tonight?
I think so. Look, I think her efficiency close to the rim has been effective for them. Even we saw that in the second quarter where she got a couple of nice buckets deep on the ring. They executed well for her.
Up to 12 points for Davidson. Here's Poch from long range, just glances the iron. George Pinot's into the game. Here's Conti. What a 1-2 punch. Mon Conti and Maddie Rocci to be able to rotate them around and not lose any intensity whatsoever. Goodchild sets up for three and hits it. She is an excellent three-point shooter, Mila Goodchild. Going at 46% coming into tonight in her career. Can be a real weapon from long range. Margin back to 18. Whistle off the ball. Push off the ball. Going against Ortlep. Here's Goodchild, sets the feet and drains it.
Yeah, she's been a good pickup for the Melbourne Boomers. Had to come in and play under some duress, but certainly not shy to take that three-pointer, and as a shame. As you say, shoots a great clip.
Coming out of 5 years in the Duke system, which in America is one of the elite systems in college basketball. And well trained in the fundamentals. First season in the WNBL, she's been impressive, Megs.
That's right, Lara Hollingsworth, Georgia Pinot and now Holly Griffiths are coming into the game for the Flyers. They're getting the bench on. Holly Griffiths, part of the Victorian team that won silver at the Under-20 Women's Championships in Geelong last week. So great to see those players getting on. And what about this time next week? It will be the State Basketball Centre where Southside Flyers will be playing the Townsville Fire in the final home and away game. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
Might be for top spot, Megs, which would potentially bring home court advantage come grand final time. Another blockbuster coming up. We've got Perth and Bendigo this weekend as well, which is effectively an elimination final. It's been a super season, Carrie. We've enjoyed it right from the start and it just keeps building.
Yeah, absolutely. There's stories within stories on, who's got the head-to-head, who's got to beat what. Certainly for the Southside Flyers, for them to take top spot, they have to guarantee that win against Townsville, and then they have to hope Townsville drop another game because they don't have the head-to-head split against Townsville.
Another spectacular block from Poch. This time, potentially the assist that rattles out. Goodchild. Ortlep, Brewster, drains it.
Bench getting to show what they can do for both teams.
Conti to Poch, Griffiths to Hollingsworth. Back to Moncon, former Boomer of course, gets to the stripe. Away comes Goodchild. Well done, Conti again. Refused to give up on the play.
Again, just relentless. Their defensive intensity has been absolutely at playoff pitch.
Super fit Mon Conti. And has stepped into this WNBL season and having a career best year. really making an impact, showing an offensive side to her game that we didn't really see from her when she was playing at the Boomers. But she's been playing with freedom for the Flyers, showing added dimensions to her game. Good child. Pops it over the top. Here's Davidson again. In good position against Griffiths, who scraps hard, denies her the basket. It'll remain a Boomers ball off the foot of Pinot.
Davidson, interestingly, took a bit of extra time there. You know, she'd gone at the star talent of the Southside Flyers earlier through the contest, found great ways to finish, and then got a little nervy against the young bench players.
Look at the pressure on Brewster. Forces the turnover. Conti waits for some support. Kicks it out to Hollingsworth. Potch. Back to Conti. Feeds to Pinot. Rejected by Davidson. Final minute of what's been a masterclass from the Flyers. Good child. Another rejection from Nadio Potch. It's a block party for Nadio.
It is. We could have a highlight reel of her blocks from the season, and she'd have about 20 of them.
Such excellent timing. Again, we mentioned the comparison earlier with Ezi Magbegor, the length, but also the timing, the athleticism carry. It's one thing to get there, but you've got to time your move, and Nadio just seems to have that sixth sense to do just that. Good child puts up a long-range shot. Brewster, Ortlep, she jacks one up and hits the three. Let's go courtside to Megs.
The only thing better than those blocks by Nadio Potch is her facial reactions. She has a look of shock and then a laugh. Every time she blocks a shot, she looks to the bench and the reaction is gold.
Final 11 seconds. Here is Potch. Offensive foul. What a prospect she is. 18 years of age, came up through the Dandenong Rangers junior system. Played for the Gems, Australian under-19 representative. Elected to stay in Australia and play professional ball. Follow the Ezi Magbegor route. Develop your game.
Smart decision.
Final shot of the night. And it's a critical win for the Flyers. Southside sweep the reigning champs in their season series, guarantee themselves a top 2 finish and home court advantage come the semis. Southside with 10 days to rest up and prepare to host the Townsville Fire for the minor premiership on Saturday week. What a performance from the Flyers. Southside 81, Boomers 67.
Yeah, wow. Wasn't that clinical? I mean, they set the tone defensively, up-tempo, switching in the lanes, in the space of great shooters and great players, dominated the rebound contest. I mean, that was the difference for them. 55-31 on the rebound count. That is an absolute shellacking. That sets you up to win by big margins.
Plus 24. Huge differential, particularly between two teams that are so elite in most aspects of the game. And there's a bit of a shell-shock looking Boomers at the moment. They've got a job to pick themselves up and regroup here. It is such an even competition. There's nothing to say that the next time these two teams play, you can't flip the result. It's been just so even, but there's a trend now. The Flyers have beaten them 3 times this season. And Melbourne looking for answers.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you know, the talent of the coaches in the WNBL, the talent of the athletes, this Melbourne Boomers team, as you say, will regroup. They'll scour over tape. Coach Chris Lucas is renowned for overwatching tape. They'll come up with a game plan to attack it. And sometimes you just got to say, look, tonight wasn't our night. Yes, we got swept on the boards. You know, Kayla George addressing her team, leadership from her saying, let's stay focused on the task, put this one behind us, take the lessons, let's come out and play with the playoff intensity that's required.
You do get the feeling there's just so little between all of these top teams that while home court advantage is important, there's nothing to say that any team can't beat any team on any given night. Well, Maddie Rocci tonight was absolutely fantastic. She was in everything. She set the tone early and she continued it on right throughout the night. And here she is with Megs.
She's having a great season, Maddie Rocci. Cheryl Chambers, the coach, just got all the Flyers, all of your support staff as well, into a huddle there on court after the game. What did she have to say after a win like that?
Obviously, it was a great effort, but we know we have to play these guys in finals. So just to prepare ourselves for the upcoming weeks and to not celebrate too hard because we know they're a tough team and a tough opponent, so we're going to come up against them.
We know that it was a super important game tonight in the context of your season and finals placings on the ladder. It almost locks in, I think, a top 2 spot now. I can see the smile starting to form on your face. What does that mean after a season like this?
Yeah, honestly, it's huge. We've had our ups and downs. We've had 3 season-ending injuries in our team. So for us to come out and play the way we've been playing the last 3 games, we've had multiple players step up. We've held teams to under 70 points. So it's a huge team effort, and I couldn't be prouder of everybody.
Did you ever imagine you'd hold them to 67 tonight?
Yeah, not really I mean, we have been working on our defense, and it goes to show our past 3 games of this season, we've held teams to under 70 points, and that just goes to show that everybody knows their scout, everybody's locked in, and you can see at training that the real focus is there. And we know that to win a championship, we have to lock down on the defensive end.
A couple of weeks ago, you had the absolute high of a record WNBL crowd at John Cain Arena celebrating the GOAT Lauren Jackson, and then the crushing blow of her being injured in the opening 91 seconds. How has the team regrouped and brought itself back up from that? Because I imagine it's been really hard emotionally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when LJ went down, you could just see the group inside themselves were really disappointed, especially for her to make the comeback that she had. We were so excited to play alongside her this season, and she's huge for us. But I think we regrouped, and for us to come out and play the way we've been playing these past couple of games without her goes to show to the character that we all have.
Now, they've set up the chairs behind us. We know LJ usually stays for, an hour or 2 after the game signing autographs. Who steps up in her absence? Who is the fan favourite now?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, there's a few people that hang around. But I mean, after a game like this, we want to thank our fans. It was a great turnout tonight, and we've had the crowd behind us, so obviously we're helpful to be there.
Now, we know just finally you're the fan favourite in your family, and just a special shout out for someone who's had a very big special birthday that you would like to say hello to.
Yeah, my great-grandma turned 99, which is super exciting. She's an amazing woman, so a happy birthday to her, and we hope that she keeps going.
She'll like what she saw tonight. Thanks, Maddie.
Thank you.
Thanks to Maddie Rocci. Outstanding tonight with Megs. And as they say, offence sells memberships, defence wins championships. And tonight was the #1 offensive team, Melbourne, up against the #1 defensive team, the Flyers, and Southside had the answers.
Yeah, they did, and we heard that to hold a star-studded Melbourne Boomers outfit, that a high-scoring, high-octane team, to hold them to 67 points, massive credit to their defence. And you can't just say, oh, Melbourne Boomers didn't shoot well. Southside Flyers wore them like a glove, switched, executed, took away their favourite things. They really set the standard of the defensive end. As you say, defence wins championships time and time again.
Boomers averaging 87 points a game, held to 67 tonight. That will no doubt please their coach, Cheryl Chambers. Here she is with Megs.
Well, Cheryl Chambers, what did you hope to keep the Melbourne Boomers to tonight?
Oh, look, we didn't have a number, but we certainly wanted to keep it to a lower score, and really pleased with our defence, really pleased.
Let's talk about your defence, because so much has been said all season about the offence and the scoring capabilities of this team. You've had a great season, maybe locked in a top 2 spot, but defence has been a constant work in progress for you guys.
Yeah, it has. I mean, from the start, we thought that we would always be able to put enough points on the board, but we really needed to be able to defend. And I think the girls have really bought in and playing with each other and got some real energy on the defensive end.
Just spoke to Rocci about, I guess, the emotional build-up it was leading into that game at John Cain Arena, the record crowd, LJ being injured. Are you really proud with how the team's responded and sort of had to rebuild again in the last few weeks?
Yeah, we have. I mean, losing Loz like we did was pretty, it kind of hurts everyone. So it took us a little bit to get back together, and I'm really proud of the way the girls are all standing up.
Now, we love a shot block by Nadia Poch. I was just saying to Carrie Graff and Jason Bennett in commentary, I reckon the only thing better than her block party is her facial reactions, because she always has a look of shock.
Yes.
Then she looks to the bench and laughs. She must bring you so much joy.
Oh, she does. And doesn't it just show you the athleticism and the raw talent? And, she gets better every day. But you're right, that look on her face when she blocks, it's like she's done something wrong, and we all just go, no, you're not.
Never. Great win tonight, Shez. 1 game left now. It's against Townsville. It's here next week. It's going to be a cracker.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great one. Hopefully everyone will come out here and we can pack the stadium, because it'll be a high-quality game. I think both teams want to score, so it should be something good to watch.
And first spot might be on the line, so we look forward to it. Congratulations tonight, Shez.
Thank you.
Wonderful performance